Hello, and welcome to a special Friday edition of Live with Shelly. I'm Shelly James, and I'm excited to be on with all of you guys tonight. And I'm going to be sharing a special Christmas demo of a cross on like a red wood barn background. So, kind of a country looking design, something quick and easy. And the inspiration for that, just to be above board and honest, is it came from one of those paint night companies that does the sip and strokes or paint nights or whatever. So it's just a quick, simple, fun way, but we're going to do it the one stroke way, and I'm going to share with you how fun and easy that is to do. So we'll be doing that later tonight. So if you're joining me, give me a quick shout and let me know you're there. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for coming on. If you are on my Facebook group, also let me know. Hi, Sue. Thank you for joining. All right. So we'll get a few people. I know it's Friday night, and I know some of you were probably on an earlier painting lesson with Donna Dewberry. So if you catch this on the replay, that's fine too. So hello, Bobby. Thank you for coming on. I'll give y'all just a couple minutes. And in the meantime, let's just talk a little bit about what's coming up on my social media channels. So on my YouTube channel over this next month, I am doing a series on the Shelly Loves to Paint lessons that drop every Monday at noon Eastern time. That series is greeting cards. Okay. And I know greeting cards are kind of a dying, I guess, thing to do. But as one stroke painters, we like to create our own greeting cards, paint our own greeting cards, and have fun with that. So I had one that just dropped this past Monday, and that was this pretty cardinal, right? And I saw some of you actually painted this and shared it already. So thank you for doing that. And I'm trying to, as I do that, I'm showing you how you do the accompanying envelope with it. So you create and stroke those designs together at the same time, and then you've got them both done when you complete your design. So that was this past Monday. And then the one that's coming up this Monday is this pretty candle design. So we've got some treasure gold going on here. You can kind of see the glare, the shine from that, and some holly and berries around this pretty candle. So just a quick and easy design with that. And then you have the accompanying envelope that goes with that. So that's coming up this coming Monday. So I hope you'll be sure to watch that and share your paintings when you do them. I love seeing you guys and all what you're sharing when you're painting along with me. So thank you so much for that. I really enjoy it, and it touches me because then I know I've done something that you like, and because not everybody paints everything I do, and that's fine. But if it's something you like and you want to share it, that's wonderful. So hello, Donna, and looks like we've got 4 people on our YouTube channel. So hi, Susan. All right. So that's what's coming up on Shelly Loves to Paint for the next month, in the month of November. The YouTube shorts for November are holiday icons, right? So we had this past ones that have been done, I believe was the candy canes this past week, right? And then there's an ornament one, there's a Santa hat, and then there'll be a snowman, okay? So one of our lucky winners for our drawing tonight for the giveaways is going to receive all 4 of these paintings that I did for those shorts. And then last month we also did holiday designs, and so those 4 designs are going away to one of our winners too, right? So we had the pine cone, the evergreen tree, the holly, and the candle. Okay, so we have 2 winners, one on each Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you're leaving comments along the way as we're going through the lives tonight, and that way I will be drawing from those comments. So then you will be entered, and the more comments you make, the more you're entered to win. Okay, so all right, so tonight I said we're going to be doing our Christmas cross. Next weekend I will not be on doing a live because I will be in Tennessee at the One Stroke Painting event there. So I will be gone, and so we will not be live again until the 21st, which is again another Friday. My weekends keep getting having things happen on them, so I keep having to move to a different day. So we're going to be on Friday the 21st. After today, the next live will be Friday the 21st, and I will be doing a pretty bow design there. And I'll also be doing my annual art sale. So, or semi-annual art sale. I do them a couple of times a year. All right. And so then we'll have the 21st, and then after Thanksgiving, the 29th, which will be Black Friday. Okay. So let's talk about one other thing, which is I have a sale going on my website right now, and that runs until midnight tomorrow. So November 8th at midnight, the sale ends, and everyone is getting 20% off holiday designs that are in video or packet form. Okay, so the downloadable videos or packets that are Christmas holiday designs. There's like 24 different things. And I shared that sale I had about a week ago. I will pop it back up just so you guys see it again, but it's an automatic discount. So whatever you put in your cart of those designs, you will get 20% off automatically. You don't have to know a code or anything like that. So that's occurring right now on michellemybelledesigns.com. And again, that runs until midnight tomorrow night. So don't miss out. All right. So then the last thing I wanted to talk with you guys about before we get to tonight's demo is I have my class, my next class that's coming up. I'm only teaching one class in November because of the holiday season and everything else going on, traveling and all that. And so I shared this last week. I'm going to share it again tonight. This is Santa and Friend, right? This is on 11 by 14 oval canvas. You can do it on oval. You can do it on regular rectangular wrapped canvas or any surface if we want wood, your t-shirt, anything that you would like to do it. But I'm going to be teaching this on an oval. All right. And so Santa and his friend walking through the forest. It's going to be a pretty fun design to do, primarily focusing on, of course, Santa and the deer. But just also getting that kind of dreamy forest background in there too. So this is coming up November 25th. So you've got time to get into this. All right. This is $30, November 25th, which is a Tuesday from 7 to 9. And you can sign up for this class a couple of different ways. You can go on to Michelle My Belle Designs under Learn to Paint and Classes, and you can sign up there. Or you can leave a message here, and I just need your email. You can private message me your email, and I will send you an invoice on Square. So either one of those methods is perfectly fine. And I know I have about 10 of you signed up so far, so that's a really good thing. Hopefully more will come and join us. And just remember, guys, always with my classes, the Zoom, we do a recording. I know it's around the holiday, so if you can't be there, don't feel like you can't take part in the class because you can do that and get the recording afterwards. So everybody gets the recording, everybody gets a pattern, everybody gets a supply list, step out photos, everything that goes with that class. So hope you'll think about joining me. I think it's going to be a real fun one for the holiday, and that will be my last for pay class that I'll be doing this year. My only other class that I'll be teaching will be my free one that I do in December. So that will be coming up. I'll talk more about that when we get closer. Okay, so there you go. Let me just set that down. So thank you. I'm glad you guys like him. I think he looks pretty fun. So hello, Margaretha. Thank you for joining. And hi, Barbara. All right. Okay, so tonight's demo is it's kind of a country look to a cross on a red background, like a barn red background. And we're going to be creating this kind of rustic looking cross and then adding just a pretty wreath, pouncing a wreath around that. So it's just a fun, simple little design for the holiday that I thought would look real pretty, again, on an oval shaped canvas. So let's get overhead and we will get started. Okay, so this is the design I just did on practice paper because I like to, I'm not so good that I need to pre-paint things a lot of times so that I know how I'm going to break it down and teach it. And so I do a lot of stuff on paper. But what I wanted to do for tonight's class is actually recreate this design on an 8x10 oval. So I got a couple of these with that set that I ordered to do last month's and this month's lessons. So it came as sets of 3 different sizes, 2 each. So this is another 8x10 oval that was part of that, that set. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. And so my colors are all set out. Okay, so this is multi-surface for the most part. We have one that is a matte acrylic. All right, and so I'll go around. This is wicker white. This is the matte acrylic raw umber. Look, makes a really pretty barnwood color because it's got kind of a grayish brown tone to it. We've got a little bit of berry wine, some apple red for our background, licorice to help shade that background. We have lime green, so a brighter green, and then thicket. Okay, and so then we have floating medium here to go with that. All right. And I'm just going to pause here and answer a question. Susan Smith, you're asking, do you still have the slotted tree surfaces available to go with the packet? So I don't sell those wood surfaces. You'll see on that packet listing that the wood surfaces are available through unfinishedwoodco.com. And I believe he still carries those, yes. So you would order those from him, from that site. I don't sell those directly, okay? All right, so let's get going with this. I'm going to grab this is my painter sponge, Donna Dewberry one-stroke painter sponge. I'm going to get my fingers damp with clean water and just go over that sponge. And then we're going to be using the flat end of the sponge tonight, okay? So the first thing I want you to see is that I've sketched my cross on here, on my oval, kind of centered it on there. And I did it with pencil. So what you're going to see is when I start to put the red on here with the sponge, and it's got, you know, water and moisture in it, it's going to kind of cause my sketch to blur a little bit, but that's okay. It's just going to blur slightly and it won't affect the actual painting and design. So I'm just pulling straight down this apple red. All right, pick up more. And we're just streaking this straight down. And you'll notice because red is a transparent color, I still see my design underneath. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead with a little more red and we'll go around the outside edge of the canvas just to finish that off. Now, the one thing I will point out about this canvas, and I haven't decided if I like it or I don't, but because of the way it is, the nature of the shape, right, the canvas gets a little puckery around the edges where they've stretched it. And in a way, I kind of like that just because it's more interesting to look at. But when you're doing this, it makes it kind of hard to get the paint into those grooves. So I'm on the fence as to whether I like it or don't like it. Okay. There we go. So just kind of finish that up. All right, so lay that down and I might get just a little bit more red here. Okay. Now, with that same sponge on that flat end, I'm going to side load or load next to the licorice puddle here and kind of work that in real good on my sponge, okay? And then what you want to do is we're going to create those wood planks. So you're going to come down, straight down, flip the sponge and line it up next to that one. And come straight down. So now you've kind of created that wood groove where the boards come together. All right, and then I'm going to skip and we're going to go right here. And I really don't have to go much past that cross. We'll just come right down there and do the same. Flip the sponge. Okay, a little more black. And we'll come over here. Try to be straight with that. That's the one challenge. And then you're just mirroring that on both sides of the stroke. All right, to get those shades. And then when you're going over the edge of the canvas, obviously you want to get that on both sides too. Okay, so just kind of a rustic barnwood look, all right? Now, I'm going to come in with my flat brush and we're going to do a little chisel in between to get the lines between the board, okay? And then I'm going to take that same part of my sponge, I'm going to go right here and we're going to create just a little break between the wood pieces on both sides, right? And pull that up. So you've got the two boards butted up to each other. And then you can do another one of those. Let's come right up here. Let's put it right there. All right, and this way. All right, so you've got a break there, you've got a break there. We're not going to see much of this one here, but I can put just a hint of one right there. Right. And then maybe let's do one right here. Okay. Now I can go ahead and take that sponge and fold it up, stick it in my cubby, so in the water so it doesn't dry out. And let's grab our 3/4 flat. Okay. Now with this, what I want to do is I want to grab just a little white on the chisel edge. And we're going to find our center between our two sponge lines right here. Right. And you don't have to be perfect with this. You're just trying to put that gap in between the boards. So right here. Okay. Now to finish that board look, you can take the handle of a number 2 script liner, dip into the licorice, and we're going to dot some nail holes now. So where the boards come together, right there, and opposite. Up here. down here. Okay, now wipe that handle off and get the actual brush slightly damp. You can come get just a little bit of wicker white on the tip, and you can add a little glare on the tops of these nail heads. Sometimes it's better if you wait for them to dry, but I think we're okay. All right. Now I'm going to get that white off of there, and let's come get some inky licorice on that same brush. Work that in. And from each nail, you can kind of pull down a little bit of streaking, like they're rusting, or you got a little bit of aging coming off the bottoms of these. And you can do that on both of them. Right? So right here. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the nails on this side. I thought that looked strange. And I didn't do that here either. Oh my goodness. So obviously you have to have nails on both sides of the boards. And a lot of this is going to get covered up when we do the pouncing of the wreath. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay, so you got your kind of weathered nails. Okay. Now let's work on our cross, because the rest, what we just worked on is really all background, and it's important, but any more detail we do on that, we want to wait to see if it's necessary after we get our cross painted. All right, so 3/4 inch flat, I'm going to pick up, this is really pasty, but this is raw umber. Let's get a little bit of medium in there, help thin that out just a little bit, okay? All right, and then I'm going to pick up white on the chisel edge of the brush. So we want to come to the top of our cross right here, and we're going to push and stroke down and up. So I'm going to get more white. I want this lighter. There we go. So this raw umber has got like a brownish gray color to it. Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah. And we're going to come right down to here. Pick up more white. All right, so it's kind of a light color with some streaks of dark. Right, and then I want to get just a little bit of let's side load just a little bit of licorice. And that'll give us a little shading along one edge. Let's get a little bit more of that. Oops. Right, and just kind of streak it from the chisel edge. We'll pull it up. Right, so you give it a kind of a worn board color, and it's mostly light in the center. Okay, now let's get more of that raw umber and some white, and let's come from this edge here. We're going to come all the way to there. All right, so I'm just following my sketch. I can see my lines, and all I did, guys, was I took a ruler and measured it out. So nothing too difficult. All right, so there's that side. And we'll find this edge, which is out here. And this would be a fun little family paint event if you wanted to sit down on, after Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's full and you want to just sit and maybe not watch football or something else. This would be a fun little painting idea for family to sit down and do, because it's not hard. So I'm just picking up that licorice here and kind of putting a few shaded lines down one side. Let's grab a little bit of white. Okay, a little bit of white. And you're streaking it. All right, so there's our cross. And now this cross, for it to look dimensional, we're going to put some black along one edge. So I need a smaller flat brush to do that. This is a 12 flat. Get that damp, and we're just going to load licorice. All right, and we're going to come right here from the edge. You come at a downward angle and then pull down. And it goes flat right there. Right? And then on this end, inward angle. And it's straight right there. This side, inward angle to the right, and straight in. Okay, and then finishing on this one, you're going to come at an upward angle and then straight up to there. Okay. All right, now, so that's our cross background. So what I want to do now is just work on getting the wreath pounced in. and then we'll do the finishing touches on the cross itself. Okay, so I'm going to take, this is a 1/2 inch scruffy, and we're going to pounce this half into thicket and half into lime green. So this is a brighter green. And then we'll add a little touches of white once we get the wreath shape pounced, okay? So 1/2 and 1/2 on that. All right, now this wreath comes from behind at the top and then comes in front on the sides and the bottom, okay? So right here, I'm gonna tip my brush so that its flat edge is right up against that edge of the wreath, okay? And so we can come out from there. Now we can go straight up and down, and we'll make this curve. And then we'll come in front. All right, so I'm keeping that light edge to the bottom, and the dark is around the inside of the wreath, okay? So let's come at this from this side now. So again, we're going to tip our brush so that you're right up against the edge of that wood piece, and then you can start to pounce when you get away from it. Right, so we're going to come all the way around here. Right, so, and if you do accidentally go over that top edge of the wood, it's easy to take that off with a clean, damp brush. Okay. All right, so there's our wreath. All right, now I'm going to take my green, my light green edge, and I'm going to pounce into a little bit of wicker white, and we can tap in some lighter spots around that wreath. And I'm going over some of the dark area. And this will give it a little bit of a more rounded look. Right there. And that looks a little more natural. As natural as pouncing can be. And then I am going to just tap a little bit of dark down here. So I'm tipping to the back corner of my brush just to put a little shadow on the bottom of that wreath, right? So you got that bright green right here in the middle. And it's dark up here in the center. So you notice I'm tipping to the back corner of my brush. And then you can have that light on top. Okay. All right, so we're done with that. I'm going to go ahead and pounce that in the water. So I want to let that kind of set a little bit before we do the berries and the bow. Okay. And so what I want to do next is let's get our 12 flat, and I'm going to load that with floating medium, and we're going to side stroke licorice. And we're going to make the ends of this cross just a little more jagged, a little rough here. So you're just on the chisel, slight pressure, up and down. We'll make that more of a pointed ended piece of wood, okay? And then chisel down from some of those. We'll age that just a little bit. And so you can do that on both ends here. So you're just pulling on the chisel edge, little streaks of black up. Right? And then we can do the same thing out here. And I'm just avoiding that wet green edge. Okay. All right, now while I'm at it, I'm going to let that green on that wreath dry just a little bit more. I can come along here and we can shade that back piece of wood right there. Right, see that? And you can even, let's strengthen some of these gaps in the boards here now that this background color is dry. Age that barn wood just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just going along, avoiding the white area, leaving the gap between the boards the way it is, but just strengthening the shading part of the aged weathered wood. Okay. All right, so I think we're in good shape. We can go ahead and now clean that brush. And then I'm going to, you know what, I'm all out of my red. So let's put a little more red out. There we go. So I'm going to take the handle of that larger brush. This is my 12 flat. And I'm going to dip into the apple red. And we're going to dot little clusters, 2s and 3s of these berries around the wreath. All right, and I'm going to leave this area open for my bow. There. Okay. And you know what? I want just, I think, and if the bow goes over it, it's okay. But I just want a little something right there. There. All right, so clean that handle off. And you can pick up that 2 script liner again, get a little bit of white on there, and you can go around and put little highlight curves on the tops of all those, or you can wait for them to dry. I just don't. just for a little glare. All right, and you want to curve these when you're doing this. I see a lot of times people are making them straight. All right, and they go in a curve, following the curve of the berry. And we'll do it on this way. On the left side, you can curve them to the left. And there we go. All right, now I'm going to take that same liner, got that clean, and we're going to get some berry wine first. All right, and I'm going to stroke my bow. So this is just a simple string bow on here, and it's got two bow pieces. So I'm going to come out and back in. Right, and that's picking up some of that green because it's still wet. And so you can clean that off and come back and get more. And then we're going to come out for another one. So I'm going to come around my berries and back in. All right, and then on this side, let's flip this out and in. Out and in. There we go. Now, I want to add some tails to that. And then we're going to brighten up some spots with some apple red. So this looks kind of dark right now, but we're going to lighten it up. So I'm going to push and stand up as we come down. There we go. All right, now let's pick up some apple red. And we'll go right over the top of this half of each bow. So here. There. And then we're going to add a little highlight to the tails as well. So just a little bit while keeping some of that dark. And so it just lightens up some spots. Then I'm going to get that same color. We're going to do little C strokes right here. Get some of that berry wine, do another one. Right, wipe off and get white right on the tip. And we're going to do a little highlight right there. We're going to come in here, right through there. Okay, so there's our pretty little bow. There. All right, so just to knock it up a little bit more for Christmas, need a little snow, right? And so I'm going to take that 12 flat, I'm going to get a bunch of white on the tip of my brush right here. And we can come right up here and just kind of lay that on and tap it down a little bit. Let it fall over that edge. Lay it out straight there. A little bit of snow. Tap it over here. Got And maybe a little bit on this side. Okay. Let's put just a little bit right here on the center of our wreath. There. A little bit different from my original. Okay, so let's get our script liner. We'll get some inky licorice. And we'll sign that. And I hope you enjoyed this fun little quick lesson. Happy little project to do with family or friends over the holidays. And some way to express our faith and our joy for the Christmas season. So thank you guys so much for joining me for that. And let's come back up now. We'll do our drawing and say goodbye. So remember, I will not be on next weekend. All right. So if you are looking for me, I'm in Tennessee for the Dewberry event, but I will be back on the 21st, which is a Friday. Okay. So our lucky winners tonight, just like last week, I am giving away my paintings from my shorts, right? So this is the most recent series, right? This has the candy canes, the Santa hat, the ornament, and the snowman. Right. So that's going to go to, let's roll for Facebook over here. And Debbie Jordan. Congratulations, Debbie. I will put those in the mail to you. I think I have your address in Michigan, but please, would you private message me and just make sure I have the right one. So congratulations, Debbie. All right, so then our other winner is going to get the series with the pine cone, the evergreen tree, the holly, and the candle. And we're going to roll on the Facebook side. And that is Barbara Fresco. Congratulations, Barbara. So also, please, Barbara, private message me with your address so I can get these off to you as soon as possible. Okay. So, well, I hope you guys had fun with me tonight. I know it's a busy Friday night, so if you couldn't be on with me, maybe you watch this later. Please give me thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know you like the lesson. Let YouTube know you like what I'm doing so they keep sharing me with other people and we keep growing our group, okay? All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a blessed rest of your weekend. We have, in the U.S., remember, we have Veterans Day coming up next week, so don't forget that. Hug your favorite veteran and tell them thank you for their service. And I say thank you to all of you who are service members and veterans of our service organizations. Thank you very much for all that you do for protecting our freedoms here in the U.S. All right. You guys have a blessed rest of your weekend. Love to you all. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.